Adrian Cole sat at a corner table in the Sunrise Café, staring at the untouched birthday cake in front of him. 42 candles should have been lit by now, surrounded by friends and family singing off-key and laughing. Instead, the cake sat cold and dark, just like the phone in his hand that refused to ring. The morning had started with an email from his business partner, Trevor Hayes, officially notifying him of the hostile takeover. 12 years of building coal industries together, and Trevor had sold him out to their biggest competitor for a percentage and a seat on the board. The lawyers said Adrian would keep majority control, but the betrayal cut deeper than any financial loss. Then came the text from Rebecca, his fiancée of 2 years. Former fiancée. I'm with Trevor now. We've been together for 6 months. Don't contact me. Your credit cards are on your desk. Short. Cling. Devastating. His phone had buzzed once more that morning. His sister, asking if he could wire another $50,000 for her business venture. Not, happy birthday. Not, how are you? Just another request for money from a family that only remembered he existed when they needed something. Adrian had built an empire. He had 3 homes, 2 jets, and a car collection worth millions. He employed over 5,000 people. Business magazines put his face on covers with words like visionary and unstoppable. But sitting in this cafe at 9 in the morning on his birthday, wearing a wrinkled dress shirt and slacks because he couldn't remember the last time he'd slept, he felt like the poorest man alive. The cafe was quiet. A few early risers tapped on laptops. An elderly couple shared a muffin by the window. The barista wiped down the counter, occasionally glancing at Adrian with concern. He must have looked terrible. Are you okay, sir? The small voice made Adrian look up. A little girl stood beside his table, no more than 7 years old, with brown skin, bright eyes, and hair pulled back in 2 puffs decorated with colorful beads. She wore a green jacket over a yellow dress, and she held a stuffed rabbit under one arm. Her expression was serious, genuinely worried. Adrian blinked. What? You look sad, the girl said simply. My mommy says when people look sad we should check on them. Are you okay? For a moment, Adrian couldn't speak. When was the last time someone had asked him that and actually meant it? When was the last time anyone had looked at him and seen a person instead of a bank account? Destiny. A woman hurried over, her voice gentle but firm. Baby, you can't just walk up to people. But mommy, he looks sad, Destiny insisted, pointing at Adrian. The woman reached them, slightly out of breath. Adrian looked up and felt something shift in his chest. She was beautiful, but not in the polished, calculated way Rebecca had been. This woman wore a bright red coat over jeans and a simple white shirt. Her natural hair was pulled into a bun, and her face held an apologetic smile that reached her eyes. Real. Warm. Genuine. I'm so sorry, she said to Adrian. My daughter has a very big heart and sometimes forgets about personal space. Adrian surprised himself by smiling, the first real smile in weeks. It's okay. She's right. I am sad. Destiny nodded knowingly. I knew it. Do you want to talk about it? Talking helps. My mommy says so. Destiny, the woman said more firmly now, though Adrian could hear the affection in her voice. She looked at Adrian again. I really am sorry. We'll leave you alone. No, Adrian said quickly. He didn't want them to go. For reasons he couldn't explain, the presence of this child and her mother made the crushing weight on his chest feel lighter. Please. It's okay. I could use the company. The woman hesitated, studying his face. Whatever she saw there must have convinced her, because she nodded slowly. Okay. But just for a minute. She looked at her daughter. And you need to ask before approaching strangers, remember? I know, Mommy. But he needed help. Adrian gestured to the empty chairs at his table. Would you like to sit? I have cake. Birthday cake. Too much for one person. Destiny's eyes went wide. It's your birthday? It is. And you're alone? The little girl looked horrified. That's the saddest thing ever. Her mother touched her shoulder gently. Destiny. But Adrian laughed, a real laugh that came from somewhere deep inside. You know what? You're absolutely right. It is pretty sad. The woman met his eyes, and in that moment, a silent understanding passed between them. She saw his pain. He saw her kindness. And somehow, 2 strangers in a cafe became something more. 2 people who needed each other even if they didn't know it yet. I'm Simone, the woman said, extending her hand. Simone Bennett. And this is my daughter, Destiny. Adrian Cole. He shook her hand, noticing how steady and warm her grip was. Not the limp, disinterested handshakes he got at business dinners. This was the handshake of someone who meant it. Simone and Destiny sat down. The barista brought over extra plates and forks without being asked, smiling at the scene. Destiny immediately started talking, asking Adrian about his favorite color, blue, his favorite animal, dogs, though he'd never had one, and whether he liked chocolate or vanilla cake better. He'd honestly never thought about it. Simone watched her daughter with a mixture of pride and gentle concern. "I'm sorry," she said again to Adrian. "Destiny is very social. Her teacher says she could make friends with a brick wall." "Don't apologize," Adrian said. He cut the cake into slices, handing the first piece to Destiny, then to Simone, then taking one for himself. "This is the best birthday I've had in years. And I mean that." Simone tilted her head. "Really?" Adrian nodded. He took a bite of the cake. It was good, from an expensive bakery downtown, delivered that morning because he'd ordered it 2 weeks ago when he thought he'd be celebrating with Rebecca and the office staff. "Really? You have no idea what your daughter just did for me." Destiny swung her legs under the table, eating her cake with focused determination. Between bites she said, "Sometimes people just need someone to notice them. My daddy used to say that." Simone's expression shifted, a shadow of old pain crossing her face. "Destiny, baby, eat your cake." Adrian caught it. The past tense. The way Simone's voice changed. He wanted to ask, but he'd just met them. It wasn't his place. They ate in comfortable silence for a few minutes. The cafe started filling up with the late morning crowd. A group of women in yoga clothes ordered complicated lattes. A businessman in a suit grabbed coffee to go, phone pressed to his ear, already arguing with someone. The world moved on, indifferent to individual suffering. But at this table, something different was happening. 3 people who didn't know each other an hour ago were sharing cake and small smiles. Destiny told a story about her school play. Simone laughed at her daughter's animated retelling. Adrian listened, genuinely interested, asking questions. "What part are you playing?" he asked Destiny. "A tree," she announced proudly. "I have 3 lines. Want to hear them?" Before anyone could answer, Destiny stood on her chair and declared in her best stage voice, "I am the oldest tree in the forest. I have seen many seasons. I will stand strong through the storm." People at nearby tables turned to look, some smiling, others annoyed. Simone gently pulled her daughter back into her seat. "Inside voice, baby." But Adrian clapped softly. "That was excellent. You're going to be wonderful in the play." Destiny beamed. "You should come watch me." "Destiny," Simone said quickly. "Mr. Cole is a busy man. I'm sure he has important things to do." Adrian looked at Simone, then at Destiny, then back at Simone. 3 hours ago, he'd been sitting in his penthouse apartment, seriously considering whether anything in his life was worth continuing. He'd built success on top of success, achievement after achievement, and it had left him empty. This child, with her innocent concern and bright smile, had given him something he hadn't felt in years, a reason to be present in the moment. "Actually," Adrian said slowly, "I don't have anything important to do at all. And I'd love to come to your play if your mother doesn't mind." Simone looked surprised. "You don't have to do that. She invites everyone. Last week she invited the mailman. And he came," Destiny added. "He brought flowers." Adrian smiled. "Then I should bring flowers too." "When is it?" "Next Friday at 6, Destiny said immediately. "At Lincoln Elementary. I'm tree number 2. Simone studied Adrian's face as if trying to figure out whether he was serious or just being polite. Whatever she saw must have convinced her because she nodded. "Okay. If you really want to come, you're welcome. But please don't feel obligated." "I want to come," Adrian said. And he meant it. They talked for another 20 minutes. Adrian learned that Simone worked at a flower shop downtown and did bookkeeping for a few small businesses on the side. Destiny was in 2nd grade, loved reading, and wanted to be a teacher when she grew up. They lived in an apartment in the Riverside neighborhood, and they came to this cafe every Sunday morning after church as a special treat. When Simone finally checked her phone and said they needed to go, Destiny hugged Adrian goodbye as if they'd been friends forever. "Thank you for sharing your birthday with us," she said seriously. "Thank you for noticing I needed a friend," Adrian replied, his voice thick with emotion he didn't bother hiding. Simone shook his hand again. "Happy birthday, Mr. Cole. I hope the rest of your day is better." As they walked toward the door, Adrian stood up. "Wait." They turned back. He pulled out his wallet, then hesitated. He didn't want to offend them. But he also felt compelled to do something, give something to mark this moment. "Please, let me buy your breakfast. As a thank you." Simone started to shake her head. "That's not necessary." "I know it's not necessary," Adrian said. But you and your daughter gave me the best birthday gift I could have asked for. Kindness from strangers who expected nothing in return. Please, let me do this small thing. Simone looked at Destiny, then back at Adrian. Slowly she nodded. Okay, thank you. That's very generous. Adrian paid for their meal and his own, then added a generous tip for the barista. As he watched Simone and Destiny leave, hand in hand, laughing about something, he felt a warmth spread through his chest that had nothing to do with the coffee. For the first time in longer than he could remember, Adrian Cole felt something other than emptiness. He felt hope. Before we continue, ask yourself this. When was the last time you showed kindness to a stranger who looked like they needed it? Have you ever been that stranger sitting alone, hoping someone would notice? If this story is touching your heart, please subscribe and share it. Comment below about a time someone's small act of kindness changed your day. Let's spread the message that we all need each other, and sometimes the smallest gesture can save someone's life. Adrian sat at the cafe for another hour after Simone and Destiny left, nursing his coffee and thinking. The cake was mostly gone, shared with a few other customers after a mother with 3 kids mentioned it was her son's birthday too. Adrian had cut them slices, and the boy's face had lit up like Christmas morning. By noon, Adrian's phone had 17 missed calls. His assistant, his lawyers, 3 board members, and Trevor, which Adrian deleted without listening. He turned the phone off and walked outside. The day was bright and cool. Families walked past. Couples held hands. Life continued, indifferent and beautiful. Adrian found himself walking aimlessly, something he never did. He always had a destination, a purpose, a meeting. Today he just walked. He thought about Destiny's question, "Are you okay, sir?" Such a simple question. Such a profound answer, no. He wasn't okay. He'd been not okay for a very long time, but he'd been too busy building his empire to notice he was falling apart inside. The next Sunday, Adrian returned to the Sunrise Café. He told himself it was because the coffee was good. He told himself he just needed a quiet place to think. He did not admit even to himself that he was hoping to see them again. At 9:15 the door opened, and Destiny bounded in wearing a bright blue dress, followed by Simone in a green coat. Adrian's heart did something strange in his chest. Destiny spotted him immediately. "Mr. Cole?" She ran over, Simone following more slowly. "You came back." "I did," Adrian said, smiling. "The cake was good last week." "There's no cake today," Destiny informed him seriously. "Then I guess we'll have to order pancakes instead." Destiny looked at her mother hopefully. Simone shook her head gently. "Baby, we already planned what we're having." "I'd love the company," Adrian said to Simone. "And I'd love to buy you both breakfast. Please. Consider it a continuation of my birthday celebration." Simone hesitated. Adrian could see the pride in her eyes, the independence that made her want to refuse. But he also saw the tiredness around those eyes, the way her coat was slightly worn at the cuffs, the way she calculated costs in her head before answering. "You don't have to do that," Simone said. "I know I don't have to," Adrian replied. "I want to. Please." Destiny tugged her mother's hand. "Please, Mommy? Mr. Cole is nice." Simone looked at her daughter, then at Adrian. Finally she smiled. "Okay. Thank you. That's very kind." They ordered breakfast. Destiny got chocolate chip pancakes with whipped cream. Simone ordered the simple omelet and fruit. Adrian got the same, wanting Simone to feel comfortable, not like he was showing off. As they ate, the conversation flowed more easily than Adrian expected. Destiny talked non-stop about her week at school, a new book she was reading, and her excitement about the upcoming play. Simone listened with the patience of a mother who'd heard these stories before but loved them anyway. "Your daughter is remarkable," Adrian said when Destiny excused herself to look at the cafe's fish tank. Simone watched her daughter with a smile that held both love and sadness. "She is. She's the best thing that ever happened to me." "How long have you been on your own?" Adrian asked gently. Simone's smile faltered. 3 years. My husband, James, passed away from cancer. It was fast. 6 months from diagnosis too. She trailed off looking at her coffee. Destiny was 4. She remembers him, but those memories are fading. That's the hardest part. "I'm sorry," Adrian said, and he meant it. "Thank you." Simone looked up, her eyes clear despite the pain in them. "We're doing okay. It was rough at first, financially and emotionally, but we're managing. Destiny keeps me going." Adrian wanted to ask more, but Destiny returned, announcing that the fish needed better names. "That one is clearly a Steve, not a Bubbles." The moment of heaviness passed, replaced by Destiny's chatter. But Adrian couldn't stop thinking about what Simone had said. Managing. That word bothered him. Nobody should just be managing. They should be living, thriving, enjoying life. After breakfast, as they prepared to leave, Adrian made a decision. Can I ask you something? Simone nodded. Of course. Are you okay? Financially, I mean. The question came out more bluntly than he intended. Simone stiffened. We're fine. I don't mean to pry, Adrian said quickly. But I'd like to help if you'd let me. Mr. Cole, we barely know you, Simone said quietly, glancing at Destiny, who was distracted by the fish again. I appreciate the thought, but we're fine. Adrian recognized the same pride he'd seen earlier. He understood it. Simone was a woman who'd survived tragedy and was determined to make it on her own. But pride, Adrian had learned the hard way, could be as destructive as greed. Please don't take this the wrong way, Adrian said. But last week your daughter saved my life. Simone's eyes widened. What? Not literally, Adrian clarified. But close enough. I was in a very dark place. I'd lost everything that mattered, or so I thought. And then Destiny walked up and asked if I was okay. Nobody had done that in longer than I can remember. She reminded me that kindness exists, that genuine human connection exists. That's worth more than anything I own. Simone's expression softened. She does have that effect on people. So let me pay it forward, Adrian continued. Not as charity. As gratitude. Please. Whatever you need most right now, let me help with it. Simone looked at him for a long moment. Adrian saw the internal struggle, the desire to refuse warring with the reality of her situation. Finally she sighed. My rent is due next week. I'm short by $400. I'll have it eventually, but the late fees add up and… She stopped, looking embarrassed. I can't believe I'm telling you this. $400? Adrian repeated. He pulled out his wallet and counted out $500 bills. Please. Take it. Simone stared at the money. That's too much. It's not enough, Adrian said honestly. But it's a start. Please. You'd be doing me a favor. How is taking your money doing you a favor? Simone asked, but Adrian could hear her resolve weakening. Because giving it makes me feel human again, Adrian said simply. Because for the first time in years, I'm doing something that matters. Please, Simone. Accept this with the same grace you've shown me. Simone reached out slowly and took the money, her hand trembling slightly. Thank you, she whispered. You have no idea what this means. I think I do, Adrian said. Destiny returned then, oblivious to what had just transpired. Mommy, can we go to the park? Simone tucked the money carefully into her purse. Yes, baby. We can go to the park. Can Mr. Cole come? Destiny asked hopefully. Adrian looked at Simone, asking silent permission. She nodded, smiling. If he wants to. I'd love to, Adrian said. They walked to the park 3 blocks away. It was a small neighborhood park with a playground, a few benches, and a duck pond. Destiny ran to the swings, calling for them to push her. Adrian and Simone took turns, and Adrian found himself laughing at Destiny's demands to push higher, higher. You're good with kids, Simone observed. I don't have much experience, Adrian admitted. But Destiny makes it easy. They sat on a bench while Destiny played on the slide, making friends with 2 other children within minutes. Simone watched her daughter with the constant vigilance of a single parent who couldn't afford to be distracted. Can I ask you something? Simone said. Anything. What do you do? For work, I mean. Adrian hesitated. He didn't want to lie, but he also didn't want the dynamic to change. Once people knew who he was, they treated him differently. I run a company. Technology sector. Simone nodded. That explains the suit last week. Even wrinkled, it looked expensive. Adrian laughed. It was a rough morning. Want to talk about it? And Adrian found himself talking. Not about the business details or the money, but about the loneliness. About building something massive and realizing you'd built it with people who didn't actually care about you. About success that felt like failure. About betrayal. Simone listened without judgment, nodding occasionally. When he finished, she said, I'm sorry that happened to you. But I'm not sorry it brought you to that cafe last Sunday. Me neither, Adrian said. They sat in comfortable silence, watching Destiny play. After a while, Simone said, I need to be honest with you about something. Adrian turned to her, concerned. Okay. My car broke down 2 weeks ago. I've been taking buses and getting rides from neighbors. It's fine for now, but Destiny's school is on the other side of town, and my jobs are in different areas. I'm managing, but it's getting harder. She paused. The repair shop says it'll cost $1,500 to fix. I don't have that kind of money saved yet. Adrian's mind immediately went to solutions. Let me help. Simone shook her head quickly. No, that's not why I told you. I wanted you to know that I'm not someone who has everything together. I'm struggling too. Different struggles than yours, but struggles. And I wanted to be honest about that if we're going to be friends. Friends? The word settled warmly in Adrian's chest. I appreciate your honesty. And I want to be honest too. I can afford to help you. Very easily. And I want to. Not because I pity you, but because I care. In just 2 weeks, you and Destiny have given me more genuine friendship than I've had in years. Let me do this. Please. Simone looked at him, really looked at him. Why are you really doing this? Because for the first time in my adult life, I feel like I'm doing something that matters, Adrian said. I've made millions, billions even. And none of it meant anything. But seeing Destiny smile when we pushed her on the swings? That mattered. Knowing you won't have to worry about getting your daughter to school? That matters. This matters. Simone's eyes filled with tears. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Adrian said gently. She smiled through her tears. Yes, thank you. I accept your help with gratitude. And I promise to pay it forward when I can. That's all I ask, Adrian said. They spent the rest of the afternoon at the park. Adrian pushed Destiny on the swings until his arms ached. They fed the duck stale bread Simone had brought. They laughed. For the first time in years, Adrian felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. As the sun started to set and they prepared to leave, Destiny hugged Adrian tight. You're my friend now, she announced. I'm honored, Adrian said seriously. Simone walked up beside him. Thank you for today. For everything. Thank you, Adrian replied. For letting me be part of your lives. That evening, Adrian called his mechanic, the one who maintained his personal fleet of cars, and arranged for Simone's car to be picked up, fixed, and returned within 3 days. The bill would come to him. He also had his assistant discreetly research good elementary schools and scholarship programs just in case. For the first time since Trevor's betrayal, Adrian went to sleep feeling peaceful. He dreamed of park swings and chocolate chip pancakes and a little girl who'd asked a simple question that changed everything. Monday morning, Adrian woke up at his usual 5:30 a.m., but instead of dreading the day, he felt energized. He went to the gym in his building, then returned to shower and dress. He chose a bright blue shirt instead of his usual white, and he smiled at himself in the mirror. At the office, his assistant, Grace, did a double take. Mr. Cole? Are you smiling? I am, Adrian confirmed. Should I be worried? Grace asked, only half joking. Adrian laughed. No. I just had a good weekend. Can you do something for me? Of course. Find out the name of the repair shop that services cars in the Riverside neighborhood. Call them and arrange payment for a repair on a car belonging to Simone Bennett. Don't mention my name. Just say it's been taken care of by a friend. Grace made a note. Done. Anything else? Yes. Research scholarship programs for Lincoln Elementary School. I want to know what's available and how to set up an anonymous donation fund. Grace's eyebrows rose, but she nodded. I'll have that information by this afternoon. The week passed quickly. Adrian threw himself into work with renewed focus, but it felt different now. The cutthroat negotiations and power plays that used to excite him now felt hollow. He started looking at his company differently, not just as a money-making machine, but as an entity that employed thousands of people, each with their own lives, struggles, and dreams. On Wednesday, he called a meeting with his executive team to discuss implementing better benefits, including childcare support and mental health resources. Several executives looked confused by the sudden interest in soft issues, but they complied. On Thursday, Grace informed him that Simone's car had been repaired and returned. She called the shop 3 times asking who paid for it. They held firm on the anonymous friend story. Adrian smiled. Good. Friday morning, Adrian sent Simone a text. They'd exchanged numbers at the park. Don't forget, Destiny's play tonight. Should I bring flowers? Simone replied, you remembered. Yes, flowers would be lovely. Thank you. At 5:45 p.m., Adrian arrived at Lincoln Elementary with 2 bouquets, roses for Simone, red to match her coat, and wildflowers for Destiny, colorful and cheerful. He'd never been to an elementary school play before. The auditorium was small, with rows of plastic chairs set up in front of a makeshift stage. Parents milled around, many in casual work clothes, having rushed from their jobs to make it in time. Adrian stood out in his tailored suit and expensive shoes, but he didn't care. Simone found him near the entrance. She wore a maroon dress that brought out the warmth in her skin, and she'd left her hair down in natural curls. She looked beautiful. "You came," she said, smiling. "I promised," Adrian replied. He handed her the roses. "These are for you." Simone took them, her eyes widening. "Adrian, these are gorgeous. You didn't have to. I wanted to." They found seats together near the front. The play started 15 minutes later. A simple story about forest animals learning to work together. The sets were made of painted cardboard. The costumes were clearly homemade. And it was perfect. When Destiny appeared as tree number 2, Adrian felt an unexpected surge of pride. She delivered her 3 lines with confidence and flair, and Adrian clapped louder than anyone else. After the play, as parents collected their children, Adrian gave Destiny her wildflowers. She buried her face in them and declared, "These are the best flowers in the whole world." "You were excellent up there," Adrian told her. "I only forgot one line," Destiny said proudly. "But I made up a new one, so it was okay." Simone laughed. "That's my girl. Always improvising." The 3 of them walked to the parking lot together. Simone stopped when she saw her car, keys already in her hand. She turned to Adrian. "That was you, wasn't it? The anonymous friend." Adrian didn't deny it. "I told you I wanted to help." "Adrian, that was over $1,000 in repairs. And now you don't have to worry about getting Destiny to school," Adrian said. "Or getting yourself to work. That's worth more than money." Simone looked at him for a long moment, then stepped forward and hugged him. It surprised them both. "Thank you," she whispered. "You have no idea what this means to us." Adrian hugged her back, careful, respectful. She smelled like flowers and vanilla. "I think I do." When they pulled apart, Destiny was watching with interest. "Are you and Mommy going to get married?" "Destiny?" Simone's face went red. But Adrian laughed. "Your mommy and I are friends, Destiny. Good friends." "That's how it starts," Destiny said wisely. "In all the movies, people are friends first, then they fall in love." "Let's focus on the friend part for now," Simone said, still blushing. They said goodbye in the parking lot. As Adrian drove home in his luxury sedan, he realized he was happier after spending an evening watching a children's play than he'd been closing his last $100 million deal. Over the next few weeks, Adrian became a regular fixture in Simone and Destiny's lives. He visited the cafe every Sunday morning. He took Destiny to the library on Saturdays while Simone caught up on work. He helped with homework, though second-grade math was surprisingly challenging. He brought groceries when he visited, always making it seem casual, never making Simone feel like charity. One evening, as they sat in Simone's small apartment, Adrian had offered to help her move somewhere bigger, but she'd refused, saying the apartment held good memories. Destiny fell asleep on the couch between them, her head on Adrian's shoulder. Simone looked at her daughter with soft eyes. "She adores you." "The feeling is mutual," Adrian said quietly, careful not to wake Destiny. "Can I ask you something?" Simone said. "Always." "Why us? You could help anyone. You could donate to charities, fund programs. Why focus on a single mother and her daughter?" Adrian thought about the question. "Because charities are abstract. Numbers on a page. Tax deductions. But you and Destiny are real. When I help you, I see the difference it makes. I see Destiny's smile. I see the relief in your eyes when you don't have to worry about rent or car repairs or school supplies. That's real. That matters." Simone reached over and squeezed his hand. "You matter too, Adrian. I hope you know that." Adrian looked at their joined hands, then at Destiny sleeping peacefully, then at Simone's warm eyes. "I'm starting to," he said. That night, after Adrian carried Destiny to her bed, at Simone's request, since her daughter was too big to carry easily, Simone walked him to the door. "Adrian," she said, "I need you to know something. You've done so much for us. Too much, really. But what matters most isn't the money or the help. It's you. Your time. Your attention. Your genuine care. That's what Destiny needs. That's what I need. So thank you for that most of all." Adrian felt something shift in his chest. "You're welcome. And thank you for letting me into your lives. For trusting me." They stood at the door for a moment, neither wanting the evening to end. Finally, Adrian said goodnight and left, but his mind stayed with Simone and Destiny. He was falling for them. Both of them. And instead of terrifying him, it felt right. Like coming home. The following Saturday, Adrian picked up Destiny for their weekly library trip. Simone had to work an extra shift at the flower shop, so Adrian had offered to take Destiny for the afternoon. In the children's section of the library, Destiny picked out 7 books, the maximum allowed on her card. Adrian helped her carry them to the checkout desk, then they went to the library cafe for hot chocolate. Mr. Cole, Destiny said, stirring her hot chocolate thoughtfully, are you sad anymore? The question caught Adrian off guard. What do you mean? When I first met you, you were sad. Really sad. I could tell. Are you still sad? Adrian considered the question seriously. Destiny deserved an honest answer. No, he said. I'm not sad anymore. You and your mommy helped with that. Destiny nodded, satisfied. Good. Because you're much better when you're happy. You smile more. Mommy likes it when you smile. She does. Adrian tried to keep his voice casual. Wow. She told Aunt Rachel that you have a nice smile. I wasn't supposed to hear, but I did. Adrian filed that information away, his heart beating a little faster. Well, your mommy has a nice smile too. Are you going to marry my mommy? Destiny asked directly. Adrian nearly choked on his coffee. Destiny, your mom and I are friends. But do you want to marry her? How did you explain complicated adult feelings to a 7-year-old? Adrian tried. I care about your mother very much. And I care about you very much. But marriage is a big step. People need time to figure out their feelings. My mommy cries sometimes, Destiny said quietly, looking at her hot chocolate. At night when she thinks I'm asleep. I think she's lonely. Adrian's chest tightened. I'm sure that's hard for you to hear. Destiny nodded. I wish I could make her not lonely. But I'm just a kid. You're not just anything, Adrian said firmly. You're an amazing kid who makes your mother happier every single day. She told me you're the best thing in her life. Really? Destiny looked up hopefully. Really? But you know what? It's okay for your mom to be sad sometimes. It doesn't mean she's not happy with you. It just means she's human. We all get sad sometimes even when we have wonderful things in our lives. Destiny thought about this. Were you lonely before you met us? Very lonely, Adrian admitted. And now? Now I have 2 wonderful friends who make life better. Destiny grinned. We're pretty great. Adrian laughed. You really are. They spent the afternoon at the library, then walked to the park. Adrian pushed Destiny on the swings and they fed the ducks again. Around 4 o'clock, Simone called to say her shift was ending early. She'd pick up Destiny at the park. 20 minutes later, Simone arrived, still in her work apron with riverside flowers embroidered on it. She looked tired but smiled when she saw them. Did you have fun? She asked Destiny. The best time. Mr. Cole let me get 7 books and we had hot chocolate and he pushed me super high on the swings. Sounds like a perfect afternoon, Simone said. She looked at Adrian. Thank you for watching her. It was my pleasure. Destiny ran ahead to the car, giving them a moment alone. Simone touched Adrian's arm. Seriously, thank you. I know watching a 7-year-old all day wasn't how you planned to spend your Saturday. Actually, it was exactly what I needed, Adrian said honestly. Destiny is wonderful company. She adores you, Simone said softly. She talks about you constantly. Mr. Cole said this. Mr. Cole thinks that. I hope that's not overwhelming. It's not overwhelming. It's... Adrian paused, searching for the right word. It's meaningful. Everything with you two is meaningful. They looked at each other, something unspoken passing between them. Simone broke the gaze first, glancing at where Destiny waited by the car. We should go. But maybe, would you like to have dinner with us tomorrow? Nothing fancy. I was going to make spaghetti. If you're free. I'm free, Adrian said immediately. I'd love to. Simone smiled. Good. 6 o'clock? And Adrian, just be yourself. No suits required. The next evening, Adrian showed up at Simone's apartment in jeans and a casual blue button-down. It felt strange not wearing a suit, but good. Normal. Destiny answered the door. You're here. Mommy's making her special sauce. It's the best. The apartment was small but cozy. Family photos covered the walls. Adrian noticed pictures of Simone with a man who must have been James, smiling, young, in love. Other photos showed Destiny as a baby, then a toddler, then the 7-year-old she was now. A life documented in frames. In the kitchen, Simone stirred a pot of sauce, her hair pulled back, wearing jeans and a comfortable green sweater. She looked up when Adrian entered. Hi. Welcome to our humble home. It's perfect, Adrian said, and he meant it. They set the table together. Destiny insisted on showing Adrian her room. Walls covered in drawings, a shelf full of books, stuffed animals arranged carefully on her bed. This is where I live, she announced proudly. Dinner was simple, spaghetti, garlic bread, salad. They ate at the small kitchen table talking and laughing. Destiny told terrible knock-knock jokes. Simone shared stories from the flower shop. Adrian found himself relaxing in a way he never had at expensive restaurants with business associates. After dinner they played board games. Destiny won at Candyland. Adrian won at checkers. Simone won at Uno. It was silly and fun and perfect. At 8 o'clock, Simone announced it was Destiny's bedtime. After much protesting, Destiny finally agreed, but only if Adrian tucked her in. In her room as Adrian pulled the blankets up, Destiny said, "I'm glad you're here." "Me too," Adrian said. "Do you think you'll keep coming around?" Some of Mommy's friends stopped visiting after a while. The vulnerability in her voice broke Adrian's heart. "I'm not going anywhere, Destiny. I promise." "Really truly promise?" "Really truly promise." Destiny smiled sleepily. "Good. Because I love you, Mr. Cole." Adrian felt his throat tighten. "I love you too, Destiny." She was asleep within minutes. Adrian stood there for a moment, looking at this brave, kind little girl who'd changed his life by asking one simple question. In the living room, Simone was cleaning up. Adrian helped, despite her protests. They worked in comfortable silence, moving around each other easily. "Thank you for being so good to her," Simone said as they finished. "She's been through a lot. Her father's death hit her hard. But you make her happy." "She makes me happy too," Adrian said. He paused, then decided to be brave. "You both do." Simone looked at him, her eyes soft. "You've become important to us, Adrian. I need you to know that. But I also need you to be sure about this. About being in our lives. Because if you decide this is too much, too complicated, Destiny will be heartbroken. And so will I." Adrian stepped closer. "I'm sure, Simone. More sure than I've been about anything in a very long time. I know this is fast. I know we've only known each other for a few weeks. But what I feel is real." "What do you feel?" Simone asked quietly. Adrian took a breath. "I feel like I was sleepwalking through my life until I met you. I feel like every moment I spend with you and Destiny matters in a way nothing else has. I feel like..." He paused. "I feel like I'm falling in love with you." Simone's eyes filled with tears. "Adrian?" "You don't have to say anything back," Adrian said quickly. "I just needed you to know. I'm all in. Whatever this is, wherever it goes, I'm here." Simone reached up and cupped his face with her hand. "I feel it too," she whispered. "It scares me because it's so fast, so unexpected. But it's real." They stood there, inches apart, the air between them electric. Adrian wanted to kiss her but wanted her to make that choice. Simone made it. She leaned in and their lips met softly, tentatively. The kiss was gentle, sweet, full of promise. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. "I should probably go," Adrian said reluctantly. "Probably," Simone agreed, but she didn't step back. They kissed once more, longer this time, and then Adrian forced himself to leave before he couldn't. Walking to his car, Adrian felt like he was floating. For the first time in his life, he understood what all the songs and poems were about. Love wasn't about grand gestures or expensive gifts. It was about spaghetti dinners and board games and tucking a little girl into bed. It was about coming home. The next 3 months passed like a dream. Adrian spent every free moment with Simone and Destiny. He met Simone's sister, Rachel, who was protective at first but warmed up when she saw how genuine Adrian's feelings were. He attended Destiny's science fair. She made a volcano that actually worked. He helped Simone fix the leaky faucet in her bathroom. He became part of their lives in a way that felt natural, right? At work, Adrian made significant changes. He restructured Cole Industries to focus less on aggressive expansion and more on sustainable growth. He implemented the benefits he discussed: childcare support, mental health services, flexible work schedules. Several board members complained, but Adrian held firm. His employees mattered more than quarterly profits. One Saturday morning, Adrian arrived at Simone's apartment with coffee and bagels. Simone answered in pajamas, her hair wrapped in a scarf. "You're here early." "I wanted to see you," Adrian said simply. Destiny was still asleep. They sat on the couch, drinking coffee, talking quietly. "I've been thinking," Simone said. "About school." "What about it?" "I always wanted to finish my nursing degree. I got halfway through before James got sick, and then after he died, I couldn't afford to continue." She looked at her coffee. "But I've been saving. If I keep putting money aside, in about 2 years I might be able to take a few classes." Adrian wanted to offer to pay immediately, but he'd learned to be more subtle. "That's a great goal." "It is," Simone agreed. "I just wish it didn't take so long." By the time I graduate, I'll be almost 40. Better 40 with a degree than 40 without one, Adrian pointed out. Simone laughed. True. Over breakfast, Destiny had woken up and joined them. Adrian casually mentioned that his company offered education grants to employees and their families. You should apply. The deadline is next month. Adrian, I don't work for your company, Simone said. Actually, Adrian said carefully, we're expanding our benefits to include partners of employees too. Rachel works in tech, right? She might qualify. It wasn't entirely a lie. Adrian had instructed his HR department to create such a program just last week. Simone didn't need to know it was designed specifically with her in mind. Really? Simone looked interested. I could ask Rachel about it. You should, Adrian encouraged. 2 weeks later, Simone received an email congratulating her on receiving a full scholarship for her nursing program. Rachel had indeed applied on her behalf, and the grant, funded by an anonymous donor through Coal Industries, covered tuition, books, and supplies. Simone called Adrian immediately, crying happy tears. I got it. I got the scholarship. I start next semester. That's wonderful, Adrian said, smiling so wide his face hurt. Congratulations. I can't believe it. This is going to change everything for us. Once I'm a nurse, I'll have stable income, benefits, a real career. You deserve this, Adrian told her. That evening, they celebrated at Simone's apartment. Destiny made a congratulations card. Adrian brought champagne for the adults and sparkling cider for Destiny. They toasted to new beginnings. After Destiny went to bed, Adrian and Simone sat on the couch, her head on his shoulder. Thank you, she said softly. For what? For believing in me. For pushing me to apply. For being here. Adrian kissed the top of her head. Always. As the weeks passed, their relationship deepened. They hadn't told Destiny they were officially together, though she'd made her opinions clear. When are you getting married already? But everyone who saw them together knew. Adrian found himself thinking about the future in ways he never had before. He imagined Simone finishing nursing school. He imagined Destiny growing up with both of them in her life. He imagined a family, real and whole and imperfect and beautiful. One afternoon, while Destiny was at a friend's house for a playdate, Adrian took Simone to his penthouse apartment. She'd never seen where he lived, always insisting they spend time at her place. The penthouse was impressive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, modern furniture, expensive art. It looked like a magazine spread. Wow, Simone said, walking to the windows. This is incredible. It's empty, Adrian said, surprising himself with the honesty. It's just a showroom. It's never felt like home. Simone turned to him. Where does feel like home? Your apartment? Adrian said immediately. With you and Destiny. That feels like home. Simone crossed the room and took his hands. Adrian Cole, what am I going to do with you? Love me, I hope, he said. I do, she replied. I really do. They kissed, and for the first time in his life, Adrian understood what it meant to be truly seen. Not for his money or his success, but for himself. Later, as they sat on his balcony watching the sunset, Simone said, Can I tell you something? Anything. I was scared when I first started having feelings for you. Scared that you'd wake up one day and realize you could have anyone. Why would you choose a struggling single mother with a mountain of responsibilities? Adrian turned to face her fully. Because you're the strongest, kindest, most genuine person I've ever met. Because Destiny is extraordinary and you raised her to be that way. Because when I'm with you, I'm not a CEO or a billionaire. I'm just Adrian. And that's enough. Simone wiped her eyes. It's more than enough. You're everything. They stayed on the balcony until the stars came out, talking about dreams and fears and futures. Adrian realized he'd never had conversations like this before. Real conversations about real things with someone who genuinely cared. When he drove Simone home, they found Destiny already back from her playdate, staying with Rachel. Destiny ran to hug them both. I missed you guys. We missed you too, Adrian said, lifting her up and spinning her around. Rachel watched with a knowing smile. Later, as she prepared to leave, she pulled Adrian aside. You're good for them. Don't mess it up. I won't, Adrian promised. Good. Because I'll have to hurt you if you do, and I really don't want to hurt you. Adrian laughed. Understood. That night, after a simple dinner and more board games, Adrian stayed late. They watched a movie, Destiny falling asleep halfway through, her head on Adrian's lap. This is nice, Simone whispered, not wanting to wake her daughter. It's perfect, Adrian agreed. And it was. Money couldn't buy this. Success couldn't create this. This was what mattered. Love, family, connection. This was everything. Real talk. Do you believe in second chances at happiness, or do you think some wounds are too deep to heal? Have you ever walked away from material success to find something more meaningful? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that remind us what truly matters. What matters most to you? 3 months into their relationship, Adrian started planning something special. He'd learned that Destiny had always wanted to visit the city's science museum, but the admission price, especially with the special exhibits, was beyond what Simone could afford. Adrian contacted the museum and arranged a private tour for a Sunday morning. He also reached out to Simone's college advisor and set up something bigger, a payment plan that would cover not just her current semester but her entire nursing program. The Saturday before, Adrian picked them up early. "We're going on an adventure," he announced. Destiny bounced excitedly. "Where are we going?" "It's a surprise," Adrian said, winking at Simone. They drove to the science museum. When Destiny saw where they were, she screamed with joy. "Really? We're really going?" "We're really going," Adrian confirmed. The private tour lasted 3 hours. A museum educator showed them everything. The planetarium, the hands-on physics exhibits, the natural history wing, the special dinosaur exhibit. Destiny asked 1,000 questions, absorbing everything like a sponge. Simone walked beside Adrian, their hands linked. "You didn't have to do this," she said quietly. "I wanted to." Look at her face. Destiny was practically glowing, running from exhibit to exhibit with unbridled enthusiasm. "Mr. Cole, did you know that some dinosaurs had feathers? And that the universe is still expanding? And that there are more stars than grains of sand on all the beaches?" "I didn't know all of that," Adrian said, delighted by her excitement. After the museum, they went to Destiny's favorite burger place. Not fancy, but she loved their milkshakes. Over lunch, Destiny talked nonstop about everything she'd learned. "This is the best day ever," she declared. "Top 5 days of my whole life." "What are the other 4?" Adrian asked, curious. Destiny counted on her fingers. "The day I met you. The day Mommy said we could get a goldfish. Christmas when I was 6. And my birthday last year when Mommy made me a castle cake." Adrian noticed that 3 of the 5 days involved simple, inexpensive moments. Not the museum trip, but the day they met. Not expensive gifts, but a homemade cake. It reinforced everything he'd learned about what really mattered. After lunch they went to the park. Destiny ran ahead to the playground while Adrian and Simone walked slowly behind her. "I have something for you," Adrian said. He handed Simone an envelope. "What's this?" "Open it." Inside was a letter from her college confirming that her entire nursing program had been paid for by an educational grant. Full tuition, books, fees, everything. A 4-year program, completely covered. Simone read the letter 3 times, her hands shaking. "Adrian, this says everything is paid for." "Everything." "It is," he confirmed. "This is too much," Simone whispered. "This is tens of thousands of dollars." "It's an investment in your future," Adrian said. "In Destiny's future. You're going to be an amazing nurse, and you shouldn't have to spend years saving up for the opportunity." Tears rolled down Simone's cheeks. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll accept it. Say you'll let me help you build the life you deserve." Simone threw her arms around him, holding him tight. Yes, I accept. Thank you. Thank you so much." They stood there for a long moment, holding each other. Destiny ran over, concerned by her mother's tears. "Mommy, are you okay?" "I'm better than okay, baby," Simone said, wiping her eyes. "Mr. Cole did something very, very kind for us." "He always does," Destiny said matter-of-factly. "He's the best." That evening, back at Simone's apartment, after Destiny was in bed, Simone and Adrian talked seriously. "I need you to understand something," Simone said. "What you've done for us, the money, the help, it's incredible. But that's not why I love you." "I know," Adrian said. "Do you?" "Because I need you to really know. I fell in love with the man who pushes my daughter on swings. The man who helps with second-grade homework even though fractions confuse him. The man who shows up every Sunday morning just to have breakfast with us. That's who I love. Not your bank account." Adrian took her hands. "And I need you to understand why I do these things. It's not to buy your affection or show off. Because I can. I have resources that most people don't, and what good are they if I can't use them to help the people I love? You've given me purpose, Simone. You and Destiny have given me a reason to be better. So let me be better. Let me help." Simone smiled through fresh tears. "You're making me cry again. Happy tears, I hope." The happiest, she confirmed. They sat together on the couch, talking late into the night. Adrian shared more about his past, the loneliness of his childhood, raised by nannies while his parents built their business empire, the pressure to succeed, the gradual realization that he'd built a life that looked perfect but felt empty. Simone shared her own struggles, the terror of watching her husband die, the overwhelming responsibility of single parenthood, the nights she cried wondering if she was enough for Destiny. "You're more than enough," Adrian assured her. "You're extraordinary." "So are you," Simone replied. "I hope you're starting to believe that." "I'm starting to," Adrian admitted. "Thanks to you." As he prepared to leave, he still maintained his own apartment, not wanting to rush things. Simone walked him to the door. "Adrian, I want you to know something. I'm ready." "Ready for what?" "For whatever comes next. With us. I'm all in. Completely." Adrian's heart soared. "So am I." They kissed goodnight and Adrian drove home with his heart full. His penthouse felt even emptier than usual, and he realized he didn't want to sleep there anymore. He wanted to wake up with Simone and Destiny, to be part of their morning routine, to belong. Soon, he promised himself. Soon he'd talk to Simone about moving in together or them moving to a bigger place or whatever made sense. But for now, he'd savor this moment, the moment when everything felt possible. The next morning, Adrian woke to a text from Destiny. Simone had given her supervised phone time. It was a picture she'd drawn, 3 stick figures holding hands. One wore a suit, Adrian, one wore a red coat, Simone, and one wore a green dress, Destiny. Above them, in careful 7-year-old handwriting, "My family." Adrian stared at the picture for a long time, then saved it as his phone background. He sent back a reply, "That's the best picture I've ever seen. I love you both." Destiny replied immediately, "We love you too." 3 simple words. But they meant everything. Adrian got dressed and headed to the office, but his mind stayed on that picture. A family. His family. Not by blood but by choice. By love. And that, Adrian had learned, was the strongest bond of all. 2 weeks later, on a Tuesday afternoon, Adrian was at the Sunrise Café with Simone. Destiny was at school and they'd both taken the afternoon off to spend time together. They sat at their usual table, the one where they'd first met, talking and laughing. The door opened and Adrian's smile died. Rebecca Mitchell walked in, followed by Trevor Hayes. They hadn't changed. Rebecca in a designer dress, Trevor in an expensive suit, both wearing the smug expressions of people who thought they'd won. Adrian instinctively reached for Simone's hand. She looked at him, concerned. "What's wrong?" "My past just walked through the door," he said quietly. Rebecca spotted him immediately. Her eyes widened, then narrowed as she took in Simone. She whispered something to Trevor and they both approached. "Adrian," Rebecca said, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "Fancy meeting you here. This is quite a downgrade from your usual spots." Adrian stood, positioning himself slightly in front of Simone. "Rebecca." "Trevor. I'd say it's nice to see you, but I was raised not to lie." Trevor smirked. "Still bitter about the business? Cole, you should thank me. That company was stagnant under your leadership. We're taking it places you never imagined." "You mean running it into the ground with your aggressive tactics?" Adrian replied calmly. "I've seen the reports. Employee satisfaction is down 30%. You've had 2 major client losses. But sure, tell yourself you're doing great." Rebecca's attention had fixed on Simone, who'd stood up beside Adrian. "And who is this?" "Let me guess, another gold digger who thinks she's hit the jackpot." Before Adrian could respond, Simone spoke. "I'm Simone, Adrian's girlfriend. And you are?" "Rebecca Mitchell, Adrian's ex-fiancée. I'm sure he's told you all about me." "He's mentioned you," Simone said calmly. "Said you left him for his business partner. That must have been difficult, choosing between 2 wealthy men." Rebecca's smile tightened. "At least I chose someone with ambition. Someone who's still relevant. Adrian's been a ghost in the business world for months. Everyone's talking about his downfall." "My downfall?" Adrian laughed. "Rebecca, I restructured my company to focus on sustainable growth and employee satisfaction. We're more profitable than ever, just not in ways you'd understand. Because you only see numbers, not people." "Oh please," Trevor interjected. "You've gone soft, Cole. All these new policies, the benefits, the flexibility. You're running a charity, not a business." "I'm running a company where people matter," Adrian corrected. "Where employees are valued. Where success is measured in more than quarterly reports." "Novel concept, I know." Rebecca looked at Simone with barely disguised contempt. So what do you do, Simone? Let me guess, you're an aspiring model? Actress. Waiting for Adrian to fund your dreams? Simone met her gaze steadily. I work at a flower shop. I'm going to school to be a nurse. And I have a 7-year-old daughter. None of which is any of your business, but since you asked. A single mother, Rebecca said, as if that explained everything. How convenient for you, finding a billionaire to solve all your problems. Adrian stepped forward, his voice hard. That's enough. You don't get to speak to her that way. Oh, Adrian, Rebecca said, her voice softening artificially. Don't be angry. I'm just looking out for you. This woman is clearly using you. Wake up before she takes everything. The only people who ever used me are standing right in front of me, Adrian said coldly. Simone has given me more in 6 months than you gave me in 2 years. She sees me, not my bank account. She cares about me, not what I can do for her. How touching, Trevor said sarcastically. Adrian Cole, brought low by domestic bliss. Pathetic. What's pathetic, Simone said, surprising everyone, is 2 people who think success means stepping on everyone around you. Who measure worth in dollar signs and power plays. Adrian told me about you both. About how you betrayed him, lied to him, used him. And you know what? I'm glad you did. Rebecca's eyebrows rose. Excuse me? I'm glad, Simone repeated. Because if you hadn't betrayed him, Adrian might never have walked into this cafe. He might never have met my daughter. He might never have learned what real love looks like. So thank you actually. Thank you for being exactly who you are, because it brought him to us. Adrian felt his chest swell with love and pride. Simone wasn't intimidated or upset. She stood her ground with grace and strength. Rebecca's face flushed red. You're delusional if you think this will last. Adrian will get bored of playing house. Men like him always do. Men like me? Adrian asked. You mean men who were hollow inside until they found something real? Men who confused success with happiness? Men who finally learned what matters? You're right, Rebecca. I've changed. And I'm grateful for it every single day. Just then, Destiny burst through the cafe door. Rachel must have picked her up early from school. She ran straight to Adrian and Simone. Hi. We finished early because of a teacher meeting. She stopped when she saw Rebecca and Trevor, her natural friendliness turning to wariness. Who are they? Nobody important, Adrian said, putting his hand on Destiny's shoulder protectively. Rebecca looked at Destiny, then at Adrian, then laughed. Oh, this is rich. Playing daddy to someone else's kid. How long before the novelty wears off, Adrian? Destiny frowned. That's a mean thing to say. Destiny, honey, some people never learned how to be kind, Simone said gently. It's sad, really. I feel sorry for them, Destiny announced. Then to Adrian and Simone, can we go? These people are making me uncomfortable. Absolutely, Adrian said. He put money on the table for their bill, tipping extra. Then he looked at Rebecca and Trevor one last time. I used to think you both destroyed my life. But you actually saved it. You showed me what I didn't want. And now I have what I do want. So goodbye, Rebecca. Goodbye, Trevor. I wish you both the best, but I'm done looking backward. As they walked out, Rebecca called after them, You'll regret this, Adrian. Mark my words. Adrian didn't even turn around. Outside, Rachel was waiting by her car. She saw their expressions and immediately asked, What happened? Just some garbage that needed to be taken out, Simone said lightly for Destiny's sake. In Adrian's car, he drove Simone and Destiny home while Rachel followed. Destiny asked, Why was that lady so mean? Adrian and Simone exchanged glances. Finally, Adrian said, Sometimes people are hurting inside and they try to make others hurt too. It's not about you or your mom. It's about them. That's sad, Destiny said. I hope they feel better someday. Adrian smiled at her through the rearview mirror. This 7-year-old had more wisdom and compassion than most adults he knew. Me too, sweetheart. At Simone's apartment, Rachel stayed for dinner. As they ate, Destiny retold the story from her perspective, making Rebecca and Trevor sound like cartoon villains. Despite the unpleasantness, they all ended up laughing. After dinner, Rachel pulled Adrian aside. So those were the exes? Unfortunately. They're awful, Rachel said bluntly. And I'm glad they're gone. But more importantly, how are you feeling? Adrian thought about it. Surprisingly okay. Actually better than okay. Seeing them just confirmed that I made the right choice. Being with Simone and Destiny is worth more than anything I left behind. Rachel studied him. You really love them. I really do. Good. Because they love you too. And if you hurt them, I will personally make your life miserable. Adrian laughed. Understood. But I won't hurt them. They're my family now. Rachel's expression softened. Yeah, they are. Welcome to the family, Adrian. That night, after everyone had left and Destiny was asleep, Adrian and Simone sat together on her couch. Thank you, Adrian said. For what? For defending me. For standing strong. For showing me what real partnership looks like. Simone leaned her head on his shoulder. Partners defend each other. That's what we do. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Rebecca was cruel. She was hurting, Simone said thoughtfully. People don't lash out like that unless they're in pain. I almost feel sorry for her. You have the kindest heart, Adrian said, kissing her forehead. I learned from the best, Simone replied, looking up at him. Your kindness changed our lives, Adrian. It's changed you too. You're lighter now. Happier. That's not because of money or success. It's because you chose love. Best choice I ever made, Adrian said. They sat in comfortable silence, content just to be together. The confrontation with Rebecca and Trevor had been unpleasant, but it had also been freeing. Adrian's past no longer had power over him. He'd faced it, rejected it, and moved forward. With Simone and Destiny by his side, he could face anything. 6 months after they first met, Adrian knew with absolute certainty that he wanted to spend his life with Simone and Destiny. He'd never been more sure of anything. He started planning the proposal carefully. He wanted it to be meaningful, not ostentatious. No helicopter rides or flash mobs. Just something real that honored how they'd met and what they meant to each other. He enlisted Destiny's help, calling her one Saturday morning while Simone was at work. I need to ask you something very important. Okay, Destiny said seriously. What is it? I want to ask your mom to marry me. But I need your permission first. Would that be okay with you? Destiny squealed so loudly that Adrian had to hold the phone away from his ear. Really? Really truly? Really truly, Adrian confirmed, laughing. So is that a yes? Yes, yes, yes. Can I help? I was hoping you would. They planned it together. Destiny wanted to make a sign. Adrian wanted to do it at the Sunrise Café where they'd first met. They decided on a Sunday morning, their usual time, but Adrian would arrive early to set things up. The week leading up to the proposal, Adrian was nervous in a way he'd never been for business deals worth millions. He bought a ring, simple but beautiful, a gold band with a single diamond. Not ostentatious but quality. Something Simone would actually wear. He also met with a real estate agent about houses. The penthouse had never felt like home, and Simone's apartment was too small for 3 people long-term. He wanted to find something perfect for them. Saturday night, Adrian barely slept. He rehearsed what he wanted to say, then threw it all out and decided to speak from his heart. Sunday morning he arrived at the cafe at 8 o'clock. The owner, Mrs. Chen, was expecting him. She'd agreed to help set up and keep other customers away from their usual table. Adrian placed flowers on the table. Red roses for Simone, colorful wildflowers for Destiny. He set up a small card that said reserved for the Cole family. Simone didn't know she'd be a Cole yet, but Adrian hoped she would be. Destiny arrived with Rachel at 8:45, holding her sign. She decorated it with markers, stickers, and glitter. It read, "Will you marry my dad? Please say yes." Your sign is perfect, Adrian told her. I know, Destiny said proudly. Then, more nervously, do you think she'll say yes? I hope so, Adrian admitted. But even if she needs time to think about it, that's okay. She'll say yes, Destiny said confidently. She loves you. She told Aunt Rachel you're her soulmate. Adrian's heart swelled. She said that? I heard her. At 9 o'clock, exactly when they usually arrived, Simone and Destiny, who'd pretended to come separately, walked through the door. Simone looked beautiful in a maroon dress, her hair in natural curls. She stopped when she saw the flowers and the reserved sign. Adrian, what's all this? Come sit, he said, his heart pounding. Simone sat, looking between Adrian and Destiny with growing curiosity. What's going on? Adrian took a deep breath. 6 months ago, I sat at this table on my birthday, completely alone. I'd lost everything I thought mattered. My business partner, my fiancé, my sense of purpose. I was seriously questioning whether anything in my life was worth continuing. Simone reached for his hand, understanding dawning in her eyes. And then a 7-year-old girl walked up and asked if I was okay, Adrian continued. Such a simple question, but it changed everything. Because you, Destiny, reminded me that kindness exists. That people can care about strangers. That there was still good in the world. Destiny beamed, clutching her sign. Adrian turned to Simone. And you? You could have pulled your daughter away and left. But you stayed. You shared my birthday cake. You let me into your lives. You showed me what real love looks like. Tears were already forming in Simone's eyes. These past 6 months have been the happiest of my life, Adrian said. Not because of anything I've done or achieved, but because of who I've shared them with. You've given me purpose, Simone. You've given me family. You've given me a reason to be better. He got down on one knee. Simone gasped, her hand covering her mouth. Simone Bennett, I love you more than I knew I could love anyone. I love your strength, your kindness, your grace. I love how you've raised Destiny to be extraordinary. I love how you make me want to be extraordinary too. He pulled out the ring box and opened it. Will you marry me? Will you let me be your husband and Destiny's father? Will you let me spend the rest of my life proving that I'm worthy of your love? Before Simone could answer, Destiny jumped up with her sign. Will you marry my dad? Please say yes. Simone laughed through her tears. She looked at Destiny, then at Adrian. Yes, she said, her voice thick with emotion. Yes, of course I'll marry you. Adrian slipped the ring onto her finger, then stood and pulled her into his arms. They kissed while the cafe erupted in applause. Several other customers had been watching. Mrs. Chen had let a few people in to witness, and they all clapped and cheered. Destiny hugged them both, jumping up and down. We're going to be a real family. We already are, Adrian said, picking her up and including her in the hug. We've been a family since the day I met you both. Mrs. Chen brought out a cake. Adrian had ordered it in advance, chocolate, decorated with congratulations, and small fondant figures that looked remarkably like the three of them. They celebrated at the cafe, surrounded by strangers who'd become part of their story. People came over to congratulate them, to share their own engagement stories, to talk about love and second chances. Later, at Simone's apartment, the three of them sat together, looking at the ring on Simone's finger. It's beautiful, she said. You're beautiful, Adrian replied. When are you getting married? Destiny asked. Can I be in the wedding? Can I wear a fancy dress? You can absolutely be in the wedding, Simone assured her. You'll be our maid of honor. What's that? The most important person besides the bride and groom, Adrian explained. The person who stands with us and supports us. Destiny nodded solemnly. I can do that. I'm very supportive. They spent the rest of the day planning, dreaming, laughing. Adrian couldn't remember ever being this happy. He'd found his purpose, his family, his home. That evening, after Destiny was asleep, Adrian and Simone sat on the couch, her head on his shoulder. Are you sure about this? She asked quietly. Marriage is a big step. I've never been more sure of anything, Adrian said. Are you sure? Completely, Simone replied. You've become essential to us, Adrian. I can't imagine life without you now. You won't have to, he promised. I'm here forever. Forever, Simone repeated, smiling. I like the sound of that. They kissed, sealing their promise. Outside, the city lights twinkled, and somewhere in the apartment, Destiny's sign leaned against the wall, glitter still falling from its decorated surface. A family chosen and loved. A future bright and full of promise. Everything that mattered. The engagement period flew by. Adrian and Simone decided on a small, intimate wedding in 3 months. They didn't want a lavish affair, just something meaningful surrounded by people who genuinely loved them. Adrian officially sold his penthouse and started house hunting with Simone and Destiny. They looked at several properties before finding the perfect one. A beautiful house in a family-friendly neighborhood with good schools. It had 4 bedrooms, one for them, one for Destiny, one for guests, and one for a home office. A big backyard with room for a swing set, and a cozy feel that made it a home, not a showroom. This is the one, Simone said the moment they walked in. Destiny ran through the rooms, claiming the one with windows overlooking the backyard. This is my room. Can I paint it purple? You can paint it whatever color you want, Adrian told her. They moved in together 6 weeks before the wedding. Simone was nervous about combining their lives so quickly, but it felt natural. Adrian helped Destiny decorate her room. Simone set up the kitchen exactly how she wanted it. They picked out furniture together, arguing good-naturedly about styles and colors. One evening, as they assembled a bookshelf in the living room, Destiny asked, When you marry Mommy, will you really be my dad? Adrian put down the screwdriver and gave her his full attention. I'd like to be, if that's okay with you. I'd like to officially adopt you so that legally, officially, I'm your father. Destiny thought about this. But what about my real dad? My first dad. Simone knelt beside her daughter. Your first dad will always be your dad, baby. Nothing can change that. You can love him and love Adrian. There's room in your heart for both. He was a good dad, Destiny said quietly. I remember him reading me stories. And he made funny voices. He sounds like he was wonderful, Adrian said. And I hope I can honor his memory by being a good dad to you too. Not replacing him, but being here for you the way he would want you to be cared for. Destiny hugged Adrian tight. Okay. You can be my dad too. Adrian held her, his eyes stinging with tears. Thank you. That's the greatest gift you could give me. The adoption process started immediately. Adrian's lawyers handled the paperwork. Since James had no living family to contest it, and Simone was fully supportive, the process would be straightforward. Meanwhile, Simone started nursing school. Adrian drove her to campus on her first day, both of them nervous and excited. You're going to be amazing, he told her. I'm terrified, she admitted. That means you care. Go show them what you're made of. Simone called him after her first class, exuberant. It was incredible. I forgot how much I love learning. Thank you for making this possible. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey, Adrian replied. At work, Adrian continued reforming coal industries. He'd regained full control after Trevor's mismanagement had led the board to vote him out. Adrian restructured again, this time with Simone's input. She had a natural head for business and made suggestions that improved employee satisfaction even further. You should come work for me, Adrian said one night over dinner. Simone laughed. I'm going to be a nurse, remember? I know, but you're also brilliant at seeing what people need. You'd be an amazing consultant for our human resources division. Let me finish nursing school first, Simone said. Then we can talk about what's next. Life settled into a wonderful routine. Adrian took Destiny to school every morning. Simone studied between shifts at the flower shop. She kept the job because she loved it, not because she needed it. They had family dinners every night. Weekends were for parks, museums, and lazy mornings. The wedding approached quickly. They decided on a ceremony at the botanical gardens, followed by a reception at a small restaurant. Only 50 guests, close friends, family, and a few colleagues. 1 week before the wedding, the adoption papers were finalized. Adrian was officially Destiny's legal father. To celebrate, they went to the courthouse ceremony together. Destiny Cole, the judge said, making it official. Congratulations to you and your parents. Destiny grinned. I have 2 last names now. Bennett Cole. That's fancy. Very fancy, the judge agreed, smiling. Outside the courthouse, Adrian picked up Destiny and spun her around. You're officially my daughter now. You were already my dad, Destiny pointed out. This just makes it official. Smart girl, Adrian said. That evening they celebrated at home. Adrian had one more surprise. Papers showing that he'd set up a trust fund for Destiny's education, enough to cover any college she wanted to attend. Simone protested. Adrian, this is too much. It's not enough, Adrian countered. She's my daughter now. I want to give her every opportunity. Can I go to space camp? Destiny asked hopefully. You can go to space camp, Adrian confirmed. Destiny cheered. Simone shook her head, but she was smiling. You're going to spoil her. That's my job as a dad, Adrian said. But don't worry, you'll keep both of us grounded. The wedding day arrived, a perfect spring afternoon with clear skies and warm sun. Simone wore a simple but elegant white dress. Destiny wore a purple dress, as promised, and carried a basket of flower petals. Adrian wore a blue suit, abandoning his traditional black. The ceremony was held in the rose garden section of the botanical gardens. Chairs were set up in a semicircle. A string quartet played softly. Everything was beautiful but understated, exactly what they wanted. Rachel was Simone's maid of honor. Adrian's best man was an old college friend, one of the few people who'd remained loyal through everything. Destiny stood between them, officially part of the wedding party. The ceremony itself was short and sweet. They'd written their own vows. Simone went first. Adrian, 6 months ago I thought my life was set. I was content managing, surviving, getting by. And then you walked into our lives and showed me that I deserved more than just surviving. You showed me partnership, love, support. You showed Destiny what a father should be. You gave us hope. I promise to love you, support you, and stand by you for the rest of our lives. You're my best friend, my partner, and my love. I can't wait to see what we build together. Adrian's turn. Simone, when I met you, I was the loneliest man alive. I had everything money could buy and nothing that mattered. You and Destiny saved my life in the most literal sense. You showed me what love looks like, what family means, what actually matters. I promise to honor you, cherish you, and support your dreams. I promise to be the best father I can be to Destiny. I promise to choose us every day for the rest of my life. You are my home. There wasn't a dry eye in the audience. The officiant pronounced them husband and wife. They kissed while everyone applauded. Destiny hugged them both and the photographer captured the moment. A family, complete and whole. The reception was joyful. Good food, better company, lots of laughter. Adrian and Simone's first dance was to a song Destiny had helped pick. Something upbeat and happy, not slow and somber. Other guests joined in and soon everyone was dancing. Destiny gave a toast with help from Rachel. I'm glad my mommy married Mr. Cole. He's really nice and he gives good hugs and he helps with my homework even when fractions are confusing. Now we're a family forever. More applause, more tears. Late in the evening, as things were winding down, Adrian pulled Simone outside to the garden. The lights were soft, the air was sweet with roses, and they were alone for the first time all day. How are you feeling, Mrs. Cole? Adrian asked. Simone smiled. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. You. Same. This is the best day of my life. Mine too, Simone agreed. She rested her head on his chest. We did it. We're married. We are. You're stuck with me now. I can think of worse fates, Simone teased. They stood there, swaying gently to music drifting from the reception. Two people who'd found each other in the most unexpected way. Two people who'd built something real and lasting. I love you, Adrian said. I love you too, Simone replied. And in that moment, everything was exactly as it should be. 1 year after their wedding, Adrian sat at the Sunrise Café on his 43rd birthday. But this time he wasn't alone. Simone sat beside him, 8 months pregnant with their first child together. She'd graduated from nursing school 6 months earlier and was working part-time at a local hospital before her maternity leave. She wore a comfortable blue dress and kept one hand on her belly, feeling the baby kick. Destiny, now 8 years old, sat across from them, coloring in a notebook. She looked up occasionally to comment on her drawing or share a story from school. She was thriving, making straight A's, excelling in science, and already talking about being a doctor when she grew up. The cafe was busy with the usual Sunday morning crowd. Mrs. Chun brought over their order without them having to ask, knowing their preferences by heart. Happy birthday, Adrian. On the house today. You say that every time, Adrian protested. And I mean it every time, Mrs. Chun replied. You brought love into this cafe. That's worth a free breakfast. As they ate, Adrian reflected on the past year. So much had changed, all of it for the better. His company was thriving under his new leadership style. Employee retention was at an all-time high. Profits were strong. But more importantly, Adrian felt proud of what he'd built. A place where people wanted to work, where they felt valued, where families were supported. He'd launched the foundation Simone had inspired, the Cole Bennett Foundation for Single Parents. It provided financial support, childcare resources, job training, and scholarships to single parents trying to build better lives for their families. Simone sat on the board and helped direct where funds went. They'd already helped over 200 families in their first year. Simone had flourished in nursing school and now loved her work at the hospital. She specialized in pediatrics, naturally, and was already beloved by her patients and their families. She'd cut back her hours when the pregnancy had gotten more complicated, but she planned to return after a few months with the baby. Destiny had adjusted beautifully to having Adrian as her dad. She called him Dad without hesitation now, and James was my first dad, or Dad in heaven. She talked about both fathers with love and pride, which made Adrian's heart full. The house had become a real home. Family photos lined the walls. Destiny's artwork covered the refrigerator. A swing set stood in the backyard, along with a small garden Simone had planted. It was lived in, loved, perfect. As Adrian cut into his birthday cake, chocolate, always chocolate now, he noticed a man sitting alone at a table near the window. The man looked to be in his 50s, wearing a business suit, staring at his phone with an expression Adrian recognized. Isolated, lonely, lost. Destiny noticed too. She looked at Adrian. Dad, should we go say hi? He looked sad. Adrian met Simone's eyes. She smiled knowingly, nodding. I think we should, Adrian agreed. They stood up together, the three of them, soon to be four. Destiny grabbed a piece of cake on a plate, and they approached the man's table. Excuse me, sir, Destiny said in her clear, confident voice. Are you okay? You look sad. The man looked up, surprised. He glanced at Destiny, then at Adrian and Simone. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Are you sure? Destiny pressed. Because if you're sad, talking helps. My dad told me that. A small smile crossed the man's face. Your dad sounds smart. He is, Destiny agreed. And we have birthday cake. Would you like some? Cake makes everything better. The man looked at Adrian and Simone again, questioning. Adrian extended his hand. I'm Adrian Cole. This is my wife, Simone, and our daughter, Destiny. It's my birthday and we have more cake than we can eat. Would you join us? The man hesitated, then slowly stood and shook Adrian's hand. Robert Wilson. Are you sure? I don't want to intrude. You're not intruding, Simone assured him. We'd love the company. They all sat together at Adrian's original table. Mrs. Chen brought extra plates and coffee. Robert looked uncomfortable at first, but Destiny's chatter soon put him at ease. What do you do? Destiny asked. I'm a lawyer, Robert said. Corporate law. That sounds important, Destiny said seriously. It is. Or it was. Robert looked down at his coffee. I just found out my wife wants a divorce. And my partners are pushing me out of the firm I helped build. So I'm sitting here on a Sunday morning wondering where everything went wrong. Adrian felt a shock of recognition. He could have been saying those exact words 2 years ago. I'm sorry, he said sincerely. That's incredibly hard. You sound like you've been there, Robert observed. I have, Adrian confirmed. Almost exactly 2 years ago, I was sitting at this exact table on my birthday, completely alone. My fiancée had left me, my business partner had betrayed me, and I was questioning whether anything in my life was worth continuing. Robert looked at him with understanding. What changed? Adrian smiled at Destiny. This one walked up and asked if I was okay. That simple question changed everything. Destiny beamed. I'm really good at helping people. They talked for over an hour. Robert shared his story, 20 years of marriage crumbling because he'd prioritized work over family. A law firm where he'd become just a name on the door, not a valued partner. Adult children who barely spoke to him. Adrian listened, offered perspective, and most importantly, offered hope. It's not too late, he said. 2 years ago I thought my life was over. Now I have everything that matters. A wife I love, a daughter who amazes me every day, and another child on the way. A company I'm proud of. Purpose. How did you find all that? Robert asked. By accepting help when it was offered, Adrian said. By letting go of pride and opening myself to love. By realizing that success isn't measured in money or power, but in the people you care about and who care about you. Simone added, and by being brave enough to start over. To admit when you're wrong and make changes. Robert looked at all of them, then at his empty coffee cup. I don't know if I can do that. I've been who I am for so long. You can, Adrian assured him. Start small. Call one of your kids today. Tell them you're sorry and you want to do better. Reach out to one real friend, someone who knew you before success defined you. Take one step, then another. And accept help when people offer it, Destiny chimed in. That's really important. Robert laughed, a real laugh. You're quite the philosopher for 8 years old. I'm very wise, Destiny agreed modestly. Before Robert left, Adrian gave him his business card. If you need someone to talk to, call me. Seriously. I mean it. Robert took the card, studying it. Why would you do that? You don't know me. Because 2 years ago, a stranger showed me kindness when I needed it most, Adrian said. And it saved my life. I'm just paying it forward. Robert's eyes welled up. He shook Adrian's hand firmly. Thank you. All of you. You have no idea what this conversation meant to me. We do actually, Simone said warmly. Take care of yourself, Robert. After Robert left, the three of them sat in comfortable silence. Destiny went back to her coloring. Simone leaned against Adrian, his arm around her shoulders. The baby kicked, and Adrian placed his hand on Simone's belly, feeling the movement. You did a good thing, Simone said quietly. We did a good thing, Adrian corrected. All of us. Do you think he'll call? Destiny asked, not looking up from her drawing. I hope so, Adrian said. But even if he doesn't, maybe our conversation planted a seed. Maybe he'll remember that someone cared when he needed it. Like I cared about you, Destiny said. Exactly like that. They finished their breakfast and prepared to leave. As they walked to the car, Adrian took one last look at the cafe. 2 years ago he'd walked through those doors broken and alone. Today he walked out whole and surrounded by love. Life had a strange way of working out. The worst day of his life had led to the best days of his life. Betrayal had led to truth. Loss had led to finding what really mattered. At home they spent the afternoon relaxing. Destiny worked on homework while Adrian helped. Simone rested, tired from carrying their growing baby. Later they'd have dinner together, then movie night, Destiny's pick. As the sun set, Adrian stood in the backyard, looking at the swing set, the garden, the house that had become their home. He thought about Robert Wilson, hoping the man would find his way out of darkness. He thought about all the families the foundation was helping. He thought about his employees thriving under better policies. He thought about Destiny's bright future. He thought about the baby coming soon. He thought about Simone, his partner in everything. True wealth, Adrian had learned, wasn't measured in bank accounts or stock portfolios. It was measured in love shared, kindness given, lives touched, and families built. He'd been the richest man in the city when he was alone and miserable. Now, with so much less money set aside for himself, most went to the foundation or was shared with his family, he was the richest man in the world. Simone came outside, wrapping her arms around him from behind. "What are you thinking about?" "Everything," Adrian said. "How lucky I am. How grateful. How one moment of kindness changed everything." "Destiny's question," Simone said, understanding. "Destiny's question," Adrian agreed. "Are you okay, sir?" 4 simple words that saved my life. "She's pretty special," Simone said. "So are you," Adrian replied, turning to kiss her. They stood together as the stars came out, holding each other, grateful for the journey that had brought them here. From loneliness to love. From emptiness to purpose. From existing to truly living. Adrian had learned the most important lesson of his life. Success means nothing without people to share it with. And the greatest gift anyone can give is simple kindness to someone who needs it. That's what Destiny had given him 2 years ago at the cafe. That's what he'd committed to giving others for the rest of his life. That's what made everything worthwhile. As they walked back inside, Destiny called out, "Dad, Mommy, come watch the movie. I already started it." Adrian and Simone exchanged a smile and hurried inside. Together. Family. Home. Everything that truly mattered.